All right, good evening. First, let me thank you for taking a little bit of your time to join us and learn about MSD's Clarity program this evening. My name is Damon Talley. I'm the Operations Director for Treatment Facilities with MSD. I oversee all of the treatment operations with MSD at all of our 5 water quality treatment centers. Next slide. So I'd like to welcome you to our community meeting, where we look forward to walking through MSD's odor control efforts in your community. Before we begin, a little bit about MSD and what we do.
MSD, ensuring safe, clean waterways for Louisville and the surrounding region. MSD does more than you might realize to protect the health and safety of our communities, and the work is really quite extraordinary. It is our mission to provide quality wastewater, stormwater, and flood protection services to protect public health and safety. Let's talk about MSD's 3 key services. First up, wastewater treatment. This is the water we send down the drain from sinks, showers, tubs, and toilets. MSD treats more than 170 million gallons of wastewater every day. 5 water quality treatment centers ensure that the water meets or exceeds regulatory standards before it's released back into local streams and the Ohio River. Next up, stormwater management. What happens when we get heavy rains or after it snows? All of that water has to go somewhere. MSD makes sure the runoff flows into drainage channels to underground pipes that transport water away from homes and businesses and into area creeks, streams, and the Ohio River. Now let's talk about flood protection. MSD flood protection infrastructure includes 29 miles of flood wall, 16 pumping stations, 150 floodgates, and 80 flood wall closures. It all works together, keeping the community safe when river waters rise. MSD also closely monitors water quality within the system to make sure pollutants don't contaminate our waterways. Plus, the innovative technology and engineering of MSD's waterway protection tunnel and underground storage basins further protect our community from dangerous overflows and pollution. There's more to MSD than you imagined, right? MSD is dedicated to our community's health, a cleaner environment, and a better quality of life for all area residents, today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
So again, I'd like to welcome you. This is our 2nd virtual meeting, and this one's for the Hite Creek Water Quality Treatment Center service area. I believe one day soon we will be able to get back to face-to-face meetings, but for now, virtual meetings seem to be the norm. Even though we are not face-to-face, we have worked hard to make sure you have opportunities to participate in this meeting this evening. Anytime during the meeting, if you have a question, you can ask it by emailing it to odor@louisvillemsd.org. You can also enter your question via the chat option on the YouTube feed. We have a team of folks that are actively monitoring these feeds, and we will try to provide an answer to your question before the meeting ends. So when we finish today's meeting, I would like for you to take away 3 outcomes. I want to introduce you to the Clarity program and our plan for mitigating these naturally occurring odors in the system. I want to give you a brief background on how odors are generated. And then I want to describe what you can do when you smell an odor. So as you just learned, MSD has a big job to do to protect the health and safety of our community. The most constant of these jobs is wastewater management. So a natural phenomenon within any wastewater collection system is production of odorous gases. So MSD proactively addresses and manages sewer odors, but the change in naturally occurring weather patterns causing extended periods of dry weather, compounding low velocities in the collection system has increased odor levels and odor complaints. So today we want to introduce you to our new odor initiative, Smell Something, Say Something. MSD has dedicated staff to help address the odors you are smelling. So again, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to staff members on the Odor team. Again, myself, Damon Talley, Wes Sidnor, our Director of Intergovernmental Relations, Cheryl Lauder, our Communications Program Manager, and Robin Birch, our Odor Control and Biosolids Program Manager. So I will turn it over to Robin.
Thanks, Damon. Good evening, everyone. I want to tell you a little bit about our job at MSD as it relates to odors. Today, we spend over $1 million of our operation budget mitigating odors. We monitor the wastewater collection system for odors all the time. We have a full-service odor control contract with a local company that performs real-time monitoring of key locations in our wastewater collection system. They can adjust chemical conditions in real time at these pump stations if they detect higher than normal monitoring results. This past year, we just finished an oxygen injection project at one of our major force mains. Initial monitoring results show a reduction of almost 100% in our gas monitoring. We have a fleet of dedicated staff cleaning over 20,000 catch basins each year. MSD's sewer system is old. Some of our wastewater collection system dates back to the Civil War. So unfortunately, we are constantly repairing and in some instances replacing the entire sewer. For those of you traveling down Broadway these past years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And finally, we have an air treatment equipment at our water quality treatment facilities. But with all of this, we still get odor complaints. So MSD is starting an initiative by completing a new odor control master plan to see what else we can do to help mitigate these naturally occurring odors. MSD uses a variety of methods to help mitigate odors. For small air streams, carbon canisters are installed on manholes and pressure relief valves. These are mostly at our smaller pump stations. Using carbon is the simplest form of odor treatment. The carbon attracts and holds on to the odor-causing compounds as the airstream passes through the canister. At some of our larger pump stations in the wastewater collection system, we use chemicals to prevent hydrogen sulfide formation. Bioxide is a non-hazardous chemical that is commonly added to the wastewater stream for odor mitigation. As we mentioned before, hydrogen sulfide occurs naturally in the waste stream. This chemical addition creates an environment that allows bacteria to actively consume the dissolved sulfides that are present in the waste stream before it is converted to hydrogen sulfide. We have a few biofilters at our treatment facilities that are a very simple treatment process by exhausting the air through wood chips or large pieces of mulch. Again, bacteria live on these wood chips and they consume the odorous compounds as the airstream passes through. And finally, we use biological scrubbers to help reduce odors. Biological scrubbers are more complicated to operate. There are a lot more moving parts than the biofilters, but the premise is the same. Inside the vessels is a bed of filter material, and living on the material is our bacteria friend that consumes the odorous compounds as the airstream passes through. One advantage of the biological scrubber over the biofilter is you can work with the manufacturer to change the type of filter you have installed to remove more than just hydrogen sulfide from the airstream, for example, mercaptans. So that's a little background on MSD and what we do to help reduce odors. Now, Damon's going to talk a little more about the collection system.
Thank you. So next, let's talk about the collection system and why we have odors. Remember, I mentioned part of our wastewater collection system dates back to the Civil War. The picture on the screen is an original brick and concrete sewer that remains in service today. This is the southern outfall. It's a 27-foot egg-shaped sewer. The main purpose for the wastewater collection system in those days, early days, was to remove the waste from the population city to reduce illness. At that time, the raw sewage went directly into the Ohio River and Beargrass Creek. So now let's look at a service area map for the Hite Creek Water Quality Treatment Center. One thing we want to point out is that in our community, we have older parts of the community served by a combined sewer system where wastewater and stormwater are moved through the same system of underground pipes. It is the oldest service area containing the original sewers that went straight to the river. We call this the combined sewer area. And we have the newer service area where wastewater and stormwater are moved through different pipe systems. We call this the separate sewer area. For the Hite Creek service area, which is in the gold shaded area, it is in our separate sewer system. So let's talk a little bit about combined sewers versus sanitary sewers. As I mentioned on the previous slide, in a combined sewer, all of the street drains and catch basins are connected to the sewer lines in the street. So when it rains, all of the rainwater is transported via the collection system to the treatment plant. So during these wet weather events, the treatment plant can get significantly more flow. While we don't have these combined systems here at Hite Creek service area, we do want to explain why this system experiences some odors. In case you happen to be downtown in other parts of the community in the combined system. Part of the challenges in some of the older parts of the community is that in the combined system, catch basins are tied directly to the sewer pipe carrying the wastewater to the treatment plant. In this case, the Morris Foreman Water Quality Treatment Center in West Louisville. And our investigations have determined that there are still a number of locations in the combined system where some of the original catch basins, when they were installed decades ago, were installed without a trap. So how do these odors occur? A trap catch basin works just like the trap under your bathroom or kitchen sink. As long as the trap contains water, the odors from the pipe or sewer will not back up through the catch basin and out into the atmosphere. In a catch basin that is trapped, any odor cannot escape past the water level. As you can see from the diagram, the trap is below the water line. However, just like the trap in the sink that is not used very often, so say again, such as in your bathroom or kitchen, the water may dry out of that trap. So this will cause the odors in the pipe to travel out of the trap and into the atmosphere. This is what can occur during extended dry periods and during the hot summer months. So in an untrapped catch basin, there is not a water trap. So unfortunately, any sewer odors can travel to the atmosphere. So untrapped catch basins are a major source of collection system odors in the combined system. So as we mentioned here in the Hite Creek service area, you have a sanitary sewer, or sometimes we call it the separate sewer system. Here the lines that collect rain runoff from the street are separated from the sewer lines that go to the wastewater treatment facility. The good news with the sanitary system is that we don't see a lot of the same odor issues because wastewater and stormwater are kept separate. In the separate system, there's not the issue of trapped versus untrapped catch basins. Since only rainwater is transported via the pipes connected to the catch basin, there is no sewer gas buildup. But that doesn't mean these are completely and always odor-free. When catch basins are blocked by material that shouldn't be there, odors can result. You can help by keeping catch basins in your area free of debris. For catch basins in the combined system, MSD would normally flush the basins with water to help mitigate the odors. For catch basins in a separate system, we can't flush with water because these catch basins drain to a stream, and by flushing with water, we would be adding chlorinated water to the stream, which is against clean water regulations. This could harm the stream aquatic life. So also in this part of the community, we utilize what is called a force main. The easiest way for wastewater to move by gravity is by gravity. But when you have an area that has a hilly terrain, this might not be possible. MSD has installed force mains, which is a sealed pipe through which wastewater is pumped in order to move wastewater to the gravity part of the sewer system. Depending on the size and length of the force main, we have to install pressure relief valves to relieve any pressure that may have built up. The Hite Creek collection system does have air relief valves, and they are typically located in smaller manholes. So if you happen to detect any odor around the manhole, this could be the issue. I'm going to turn it back over to Robin to discuss some improvements at the Hite Creek facility.
Thanks, Damon. Hite Creek Water Quality Treatment Center, if you're not familiar, is located on Hite Lane near I-71 and the Jefferson-Odom County line. Hite Creek Treatment Facility was built in 1970 specifically to service the Ford truck plant off Chamberlain Lane, originally designed for 4.4 million gallons per day of treatment. Today, we treat on average about 5 million gallons per day, and when it rains, we can treat more than 10 million gallons per day. Hite Creek Treatment Facility has 3 stages of treatment, followed by ultraviolet light for disinfection, seen here in the center, and then passing flow over a reoxygenation ladder before being discharged into Hite Creek, which is considered to be a no-flow stream by the Kentucky Division of Water. It is a tributary of Harrods Creek. The past 50 years of urban sprawl have required MSD to expand the capacity at the treatment plant to support Louisville's continued growth and to maintain our mission of safe, clean waterways. This year, we are in the final stages of upgrading the plant's capacity from 6 million gallons a day to 9 million gallons a day. During the plant expansion, we upgraded a lot of the original equipment and even added some new technology. Hite Creek Treatment Facility has a very low limit on the amount of phosphorus that can be discharged into the creek. One common way to remove phosphorus is by adding chemicals to the waste stream. As part of this expansion, we installed biological nutrient removal. This uses bacteria that is already present in the wastewater to help remove the phosphorus, thus eliminating the need to add chemicals. We also upgraded the final step in the treatment process from sand filtration to disc filtration. This will allow MSD to maintain a very high quality effluent at the treatment plant. We also made significant improvements to the odor control at the first stage of treatment at the plant, known as primary treatment. This is where the wastewater begins the treatment process. Originally, the smaller tanks you see in the picture located in the upper right-hand corner were open to the atmosphere. The building behind the tanks was also ventilated to the atmosphere. We have now captured all of this air previously went to the atmosphere, and we now clean it in a biological odor control device you also see pictured here. The improvement at Hite Creek Treatment Center that I know I'm most excited about is the addition of a dewatering facility. The goal of wastewater treatment is to separate the solids from the liquid. Before now, Hite Creek Treatment Center did not have the equipment for this final step of solids treatment. What had to be done was to put the liquid containing the solids into a tanker truck and haul it to the Morse Foreman Water Quality Treatment Center located in Louisville's West End for treatment. On average, we sent about 40 tanker trucks down Hit Lane and Highway 22 to Morse Foreman each day. With the addition of the dewatering equipment at Hite Creek Treatment Center, we are now able to efficiently separate the liquid from the solids, and that has resulted in only 1 truck per day for disposal of the solid material. Not specifically done with the recent Hite Creek treatment plant improvements, but completed within the past few years, MSD has eliminated the remainder of the small package plant serving the Prospect area, directing flow to the Harrods Creek pump station. So what does that mean? The Hite Creek collection system area has hilly terrain. As developers began to develop new housing subdivisions, there was not always a sewer pipe in the right location for the developer to connect to and send the wastewater to the treatment plant. To serve these new expanding neighborhoods, the common thing to do was to build a small package plant for each individual subdivision. Typically, the developer would own and operate these plants, and sometimes would not do a good job and odors would occur. Years ago, MSD took over the operation and maintenance of these small package plants with the ultimate goal of eliminating them. This resulted in MSD pumping the wastewater from the Prospect area to Hite Creek Treatment Facility for treatment and reduction of odors in these neighborhoods. MSD is very proud that Hite Creek Treatment Facility is one of our 4 treatment centers to have earned an Operational Excellence Award from the Clean Water Professionals of Kentucky and Tennessee. It's quite a difficult designation to earn, as the US EPA and Kentucky Division of Water issue all water quality treatment centers a permit with very stringent water quality treatment criteria to meet prior to discharging treated water into the receiving stream. And to qualify for this award, the facility can have no more than 1 permit exceedance in a given year. 3 other MSD facilities also have earned this designation: Cedar Creek, Derrick Guthrie, and Floyd's Fork. The odors we're talking about are naturally occurring when sewage or other materials decompose. It's a natural part of the wastewater treatment, and it's inevitable in our business. But as we talked about, MSD goes to great lengths to minimize these odors as much as possible. And while we can't completely eliminate them, we can help manage them with your partnership.
The mission of Louisville MSD is ensuring safe, clean waterways through innovative sewer and wastewater treatment. But our work doesn't stop there. The MSD Clarity Program is our initiative to reduce odors that naturally occur when sewage and other materials break down. While we can't stop all of these odors, we can better manage them with your help. If you ever experience sewer odors, let us know by calling 502-540-6000 or by visiting louisvillemsd.org/odor. Together, we can clear the air.
You can help us by visiting us online at louisvillemsd.org/odor, and you can click to report an odor to us. Now back over to Damon to finish up the presentation.
Thank you, Robin. So how is MSD going to mitigate this in the future? As part of our notice of violation and agreed order with the Louisville Air Pollution District, MSD is developing a district-wide odor control master plan. This master plan is going to systematically look at all of our water quality treatment centers, the pump stations near odor hotspots, and the thousands of miles of wastewater collection system and the 3 force mains we maintain. So this process began in the fall of 2019. So MSD received a notice of violation for odors in the collection system, specifically odors in the Park Duval and surrounding areas in West Louisville. This is the first NOV for the collection system MSD has ever received. We asked why this could happen, and the answer is the weather, with remarkably dry weather that summer. But we took that as the starting point of the development of our master plan, and phase 1 has been focusing on Morris Foreman, as the surrounding areas in the combined sewer system have seen a number of odor issues. Now, as we head into this year, phase 2 and beyond will branch out to the remainder of the treatment centers and their collection system, including the Hite Creek service area. So a key component of our master plan is the communication with you, our customer. We want our customers to better understand odor and how it's caused, and then how to report it when you notice something. We have developed easier tools for you to be able to report odors. We have updated our webpage and our literature to help educate you on the sources of odor and what you can do to help mitigate those odors. So please visit us at louisvillemsd.org/odor and check out our new odor page and follow MSD on social media. One last thing we ask for you tonight is please take our survey. We want to hear from you. On the screen is the link. It will also be available on the odor page at louisvillemsd.org/odor and in the YouTube chat. So we'd like to thank you for your time this evening, and I'd like to open up if you have any questions. If you have already had the opportunity to enter them into the chat, send us an email, please take that opportunity to do it now, please.
Damon, at this time, we have no questions in the chat box or on the email louisvillemsd.org/ or odor@louisvillemsd.org. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we'll give a few minutes for maybe look at the survey, and maybe some questions will start to come in.
I believe I have one question in the email box. Are air relief valves typically located at higher elevations? So Damon, could you explain air relief valves for us, please?
Yes, they are typically at higher elevations, and kind of from that diagram you saw is, so again, the main, to keep it as simple as possible, the whole point of air relief valve is because you could have long stretches of force main and pressure can build up and you have to relieve that pressure. So that's where those are located.
And a force main is a larger sewer pipe.
It's usually, it's a smaller sewer pipe. It's not necessarily as big, but it's a smaller sewer pipe. And it's, again, as Robin had described, is, water may come from gravity areas, or it may be force main into a pump station, into the wet well. And once it reaches a certain level, it will then pump it over to the next pump station or to the treatment plant. So to kind of, even with summer conditions at pump stations and force mains, you can have issues where low flow. So, during the summertime, let's say, again, it's vacations and in certain neighborhoods or folks just aren't using as much water. You'll have certain areas where we'll have pump stations, as described with Robin, where we use the bioxide, because it can be low flow in those pump stations on occasions, and odors can build up in those pump stations where that's going to move that wastewater on to the next pump station or directly to another gravity sewer line into the treatment plant.
Thank you. I've asked the person who sent the question if that answered their question. I'll let you know when I receive a reply. Again, I'd like to invite anyone who's listening to put your comments either in the chat box on the YouTube channel, or you can send it to our Odor email box, and you can send it in there anytime. odor@louisvillemsd.org, and you can send questions to that email box 24/7. The chat box is only open during the meeting. I think I may have a question that's on our Teams channel, which I'm not monitoring, but I'll try to get to that. Okay, I don't see that. Okay, I've got a reply. Yes. Thank you very much. You answered the viewer's question. I would like to remind everyone that the webpage is louisvillemsd.org/odor. There's a very user-friendly, easy-to-use reporting tool. If you are out and about, you can even do this on your phone, and you can remain anonymous, or you can put your information in there. Either way you want, we'll still get the odor report, and it's doesn't take long at all. If you would like to use that and the survey, you can take the survey. The odor survey is also on that page if you scroll to the bottom, or you can follow the link that I put into the chat. And again, that's louisvillemsd.org/odor for both the reporting tool and the survey.
So Cheryl and Robin, if there are no more questions coming in, again, I would like to thank everyone for taking a little bit of your time this evening to join us. And I hope with this presentation, we've been able to give you a little insight on, the great things that are happening at MSD with regards to water quality treatment, expansion in the Hite Creek service area to service the ever expanding suburban area out there. And again, as Cheryl has said, please go to our website. And also one of the things is on that, our customer service line is staffed 24/7. So you will always get someone if you call in an odor complaint. So again, I'd like to tell everyone have a good evening. And again, thank you for joining us.